Kia ora mai, ko Mike Atkinson tēnei. This presentation is looking at navigation plans. Navigation plans take a trip and divide into sections or different legs, and each of those sections have specific information about it, and it really gives you really specific details about what each leg or part of the trip is involved. Some of this information might include a description of the terrain for that leg, the distance, height gained or lost, bearing if applicable, any catching or passing features, and the estimated time. Now you really want to do a navigation plan before that section of the trip, before you go on the trip. Usually the night before is a really good way, especially for a multi-day trip. And here you can see, here's a template that can be adjusted. It's just an example. And so you have along the top here the different bits of information that you might have for each leg, and then down here the vertical is all the different legs that you might have for a day, for example. So section 1 might be from the car park to the hut, and then a description of the route, and that might be with tracked or untracked terrain, anything about specific about the route there, a bearing if applicable, but you'd really only have a bearing in there if you're traveling off track. Any height gained or lost, so you have to count the contours and work out whether you're gaining or losing height, and that would be in meters there. And then a distance, so what's the horizontal distance? So the height gained or lost is your vertical, then the horizontal is your distance in kilometers or meters there. Then a time estimate, and we'll look at some templates for these next. And then are there any specific passing features that you're going to come across that you can tick off as you go? They might be where the bush line, for example, bush line meets the subalpine, could be a specific rock outcrop, could be specific spurs or gullies or river that you cross. And any catching features. So a catching feature is something that gets you when catches you when you've gone too far. And if you get to that feature, then you realise you've gone too far. But generally, if you're on a track, you won't have too many of those. Here we have two charts that can help you with your timings, estimating your times. One is the horizontal timings and the other is the vertical timings. If we just look at the horizontal timings, you'll see it on the top here, kilometers per hour. So this will be the speed that you're traveling, you or your group are traveling. So 2 kilometers is pretty slow on untracked terrain, and then 4 or 5 kilometers an hour is pretty quick on tracked terrain. 3 kilometers an hour is probably your average that you're looking at, depending, but it will vary depending on your fitness and whether you're in a group. Groups tend to walk slower than smaller groups. Now along here is the distance, 100 meters, 500 meters, and a kilometer. Now how this works is if you estimated a leg of horizontal distance is going to take you 500 meters, and you think you're going to travel at 3 kilometers per hour, then that's going to take you 10 minutes. If your leg or section is going to take you a kilometer and you think you're going to walk quite quickly, around 4 kilometers per hour, then it's going to take you 15 minutes. With the vertical timings, so that's your horizontal distance there that you can measure with a piece of string or ruler on your map, and then the vertical timings is the height gained or lost. So if you are going uphill, so if you are gaining height in this section, then you add 2 minutes to your per contour for uphill and add 1 minute per contour for downhill. And then the key thing here is you add the two together, the horizontal and the vertical distance together, and that gives you your total time estimate for that specific leg. Navigation plans are an excellent way to break a trip into smaller sections. It gives you really good detailed information about each leg of the trip and what you're getting yourself into, and really helps key planning tool to use with that. Haere rā.